Hey, so hey, so hmm, hey. So sorry about the fan in the background, guys. It's summer right now. It's kind of hot, and kind of need this to cool the temperature a little bit. Which is funny because I grew up in a pretty hot and humid country, and today would have been considered a pretty cool day back where I grew up, and yeah, I I think I have completely lost my heat resistance, and I'm going back in a few months, and I think I'm just gonna melt into a puddle when I step out of the airplane. Yeah, I'm not really looking forward to that. So SandShips. So SandShips. Uh, One of the things that I really like doing when I was a kid is just to lie on my bed and just imagine things. Just let my mind wander, go on a weird trip to wherever, and then I would be thinking about all sorts of strange and wonderful creatures and ideas and scenes and worlds. Just cook things up in my mind to entertain myself, and I've I've always looked forward to that half an hour to 1 hour before I fall asleep on my bed, and then I'm just like thinking about all sorts of weird things in my head. And and one of the coolest things about world building is that it lets you do that. Just it it lets me have an excuse. Not that I need that much to just let my mind loose, go out there, think about all sorts of fancy, crazy shit, and then just go on a trip. And so I was thinking, like how would the long tails of the Red Desert, how would they go on their trips? Like how do they move around? How do they cross that vast desert that separates them, like separates the each city, and how would that civilization connect with each other, given the level of technology that they had? And so I was thinking, the Mongolians had this amazing technology in the form of their ponies, their horses. You know, their tundra? No, that's ice. Steppe, grassland, something. Um, so they had this amazing technology in the form of their horses, and they could travel like crazy. You know, it they would live off the land, drink drink blood and milk from their mares, and their horses are hardy, has incredible endurance, and they could move from one place to another really quickly. And that's pretty much that their whole technological edge, which allowed them to conquer most of China, and then go all the way down to knock on the doors of Turkey, where the Ottoman Turks were. And that stretch, according to the map, was 5,000 kilometers away. That is one hell of a picnic trip. And and so I thought, and at first I thought, we could have what? So I thought maybe they could travel around with sand mules, you know, which I've already written right from like the first. They could travel by sand mules, you know, which was something that I've written like right from the beginning, and and that's decent. But I thought, it's kind of mundane. And then I went through other modes of transportation in history, shipping, um, rail, air, and then I was like, I had this image in my mind. Oh my God, giant ship sailing across the desert, plowing through the dunes and raising waves of silica. And I was like, that is a really cool picture, man. I have to have it. And so that was like, I was like, man, I really want to write a scene where they just travel across the sands on a ship. Yeah, and then I was like, okay, so how would they move that ship? I mean, I could I could take some liberty and just like make the sand a little bit softer so that the ship might cut across the sands if you stretch your imagination just a bit. But you know, it still needs some kind of motive power. So I was thinking like wind it would have to be a pretty big wind. They would have to have like tornado storms. Yeah, I didn't think that would quite cut it. It's not a magic world, so no magic spells should be used in the casting of this. No magic spells should be used in the casting of this. No magic spells should be used in the writing of this story. Yes. Anyway, so definitely no magic. It's not a magic world, so magic's out of the question. I could add some kind of engine. I could add some kind of engine. You know, old gods tech. But that would be like so like one of the things I wanted to try to avoid is to use too much old gods tech to save the day, because that's like a get out of jail free card that is built within the story itself, that if I'm not careful, it'll be all sorts of you know Deus ex machina shit. So I thought, what about dog sledding? And I just had this picture, of this giant creature, giant something pulling a sand ship across the desert. And I was like, this is amazing. I have to have it. And and so I went through a list of possible creatures, like obviously not dogs. They would need to be really giant size. I thought giant tortoises would have been was a candidate. Was a plausible candidate, and I was really tempted to write one. Um, and also, I thought, giant, maybe beetles, but it's I kind of put that aside because it's kind of odd. It'd be very odd to have a giant John Lennon or Paul McCartney burst out from the sands, pulling a ship along. That's not the style of the story at all. So yeah, unfortunately, I have to drop that. Plus, I might have gotten into some legal trouble. So, I was thinking, yeah, maybe giant sandworms. Yeah, that work. Uh, and the sandworms, they have like an integral part. They are like quite an integral part of the ecosystem of the Dune Sea, you know. And so they were a great candidate. So, a giant ship pulled by giant worms sailing across the desert. And that's how the sand ship and the sand strider was born. And yeah, so I went through a possible list of candidates before settling on the sandworms because they have an integral part to play in the ecosystem of the Dune Sea, you know. And there you have it. That's how the Sand Strider was born. So I thought one possible other candidate would be the sandworms, a giant sandworm pulling a ship across the desert. And well, that's what I wanted to talk about today. SandShips. If you guys have any great ideas you want to share and any kind of comments you want to give to me, please put that down in the comment section below in the video, or just write to me. Put it on my Facebook for a distance on, or just email me through my website, or put a comment down in the comment section below in this video. All right. Chill.